Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So in the overnight session, the market has been balancing within a range, with sellers a bit more active and dominant in the early part of the overnight session, and then responsive buyers stepping in around 24.20, and that's what marks our pre-market support at 19 to 21. Heading into the open, our short-term bias is neutral, and that means that we have to be pretty flexible and nimble with our real-time intraday bias, and we have to be open to both long and short setups. Now on Friday, we saw a pretty significant sell-off in NASDAQ, which of course had an impact on the S&P. And if that weakness in NQ continues on the day time frame today, then it could weigh the S&P down as well and lead to some more selling in ES. Below 19 to 21, we have support around Friday's low at 12.5. And then we have the initial support zone at 08 quarter to 11 quarter, where responsive buyers can be active on first test, especially if the market is exhausted into it. On the upside, we have the initial resistance zone at 28 to 31. That's an area that can be a hurdle on the upside, and holding below 28 to 31 would leave the door open for a retest of the 19 to 21 pre-market support and potentially a move down towards Friday's low of 12.5. Now, given that NASDAQ was leading on the downside on Friday, it'll be valuable to keep an eye on NQ and see whether the sell-off in NQ is continuing or if NQ is now starting to stabilize. In the event that NQ continues to sell off below its low from Friday, there is an important high volume node at 56.27 to 56.40 in NQ, so that's an area of support where responsive buyers can step in the NASDAQ. And since NASDAQ is leading, if NASDAQ hits support and at the same time ES is hitting support, then that could make for a good long setup on the day time frame. In ES, beyond initial resistance, we have resistance at 35.75 to 37.75 and 40 to 42, and responsive sellers can be active on first test of both of those zones. So again, heading into the open, our short-term bias is neutral, and that means we have to be pretty flexible with our intraday bias. We have to be open to both long and short setups, and the safer trades are going to be the ones where you are getting involved at good trade location, where you are patiently waiting for the market to hit a particular zone before putting on a trade. And the only time it would make sense to consider taking more aggressive trade location is if we were seeing some very strong signs of directionality in real time. Otherwise, it's going to be better to be patient and either wait for the market to hit a resistance zone before you enter short, or wait for ES to get exhausted into support before going long. And given that Friday was a pretty wide range day, today the market could very well just balance within the range from Friday and not really make any significant directional moves one way or the other. So that means that if the market gets exhausted into resistance, that'll be a nice short setup. If it gets exhausted into support, that could make for a nice long setup. And like I said, keep an eye on NASDAQ. I think how NQ performs on the day time frame will help us establish our real-time intraday bias in the S&P. So those are the main ideas heading into the open. Let's see if the sell side can hold ES below 28 to 31. That'll help establish our real-time intraday bias, and we'll take it from there.